I went into Tomb Raider: Legend of Lara Croft ready to hate it. I'm not a fan of the reboot Survivor trilogy. I expected something trashy but fun out of this show, and I was severely disappointed. It was worse. It is a boring, shallow, tedious, and so middling of the road mediocre of a show. It was an utter bore fest that only got better after Lara got her ass kicked by her best friend and partner Jonah, who had to knock some sense into her guilt-ridden despair horizon. The same problems I had with Shadow, I have them on this show. Lara doesn't suffer any consequences for her actions. There was a death scene from a major character that is so obviously fake that Lara actually bought it because she's an idiot, I guess. The villain doesn't challenge her at all. In fact, his existence reinforces Lara and her friends that going through danger is the right thing to do. The writing is horrible. I don't know why everyone has thick lips like they're in JoJo. It's just a mess. I bring this up because this article has decided to sing praises for this show and its evolution towards Lara Croft. Let me show you why it's not happening. This is a baffling article. It talks about the feminist reinvention of Tomb Raider in the form of the Survivor reboot trilogy, plus the Netflix show Legend of Lara Croft. Something funny happened in that Netflix show, by the way. The show started with Lara Croft being cold and distant with her friends, pushing them away every single time they're trying to help her to fight the evil bad guys and save the world. This was more in line with the classic Lara Croft of the old times. And yet the series ended with her admitting that she actually needed the help of her friends if she wanted to save the world, and most of her friends are men. So the feminist reinvention of Lara Croft involves Lara turning from a cold and distant woman to someone that needs the help of men to get through her quest. Even the article pointed out that she needed her newfound family. I don't know about you people, but that doesn't sound like a revolution to me. But okay then, I guess what the writers think of a revolution for Lara Croft's character is for her to be more accepting of her friends and their help. But that's not my biggest problem with the show, or the whole series in general. The Tomb Raider series doesn't always have the greatest stories, but almost all of them have one problem, and that is the villains sucked. The Legend of Lara Croft Netflix show is a perfect representation of this. All the guy wanted was to grab some ancient artifacts that would grant him all the power in the world for revenge, and Lara has to stop him by any means necessary, like putting her friends in danger again. This villain is utterly worthless because he didn't challenge Lara. In fact, he reinforced her to make questionable decisions. She has to put her friends in danger, even though she felt constantly guilty about it throughout the whole series. The villain justified her actions and made her to be in the right, even though she's actually in the wrong. You cannot develop a character whose decisions are always right. The Survivor games and the show never punish Lara for her bad decisions. If anything, she gets rewarded for it, and that is why Lara's character never develops. She's never wrong. She's always right because the villains are always wrong. I hate what Lara Croft has turned into. And no, it's not because of her design. Many people have issues with it, but honestly, no amount of facelifts and nude mods can remedy the biggest problem with the series, which is that the story was utter garbage. Lara never learns her lessons. She's always right because the universe always has enough villains to make her do all sorts of crazy things, even at the expense of her friends. If you want to have a more serious story with Tomb Raider, then take the story more seriously. Don't have a generic villain that will take over the world or magical artifacts that will destroy the balance of the universe as we know it. That's not serious. Have a more nuanced villain that actually challenges Lara as a person. Have the artifacts to actually mean something to Lara's character aside from her mentor used to hunt it. This version of Lara is terrible. The original is not a good person, but at least she's fun, not mopey and sad all the time. Did you know that after 3 games of Lara's Survivor trilogy, Lara barely used her dual pistols? It's only on the Netflix show where it's actually used to shoot things. Oh, and that very brief moment at the end of 2013. That's it. I get that the Survivor trilogy wanted to use the bow and arrow as her weapon of choice because she's a survivor and she's more stealth-focused now. But at least have the bow and arrow used in moments that make sense, like not in a freaking train full of people. That said, I like the bow and the ice pick gameplay-wise. In fact, the gameplay is the only reason why I like the Survivor reboot trilogy. They are visceral, brutal, incredibly satisfying, and the actual tomb raiding part and hunting treasures left and right, I love it. They're excellent. I still don't understand the point of developing an origin story of Lara Croft and a whole freaking trilogy and then not have her freaking dual pistols until the Netflix show. It's a waste of a trilogy if you ask me. But yeah, that's enough of Lara Croft. I hate what she's turned into. Not because she looks like a man or whatever the anti-woke people say. It's just that her story sucks and her writing sucks. I don't know what the next reboot will have her turn out to be, but I am hoping for something much better than a Survivor reboot trilogy and the Netflix show. I still have plenty of stuff to talk about, so let's talk about other stuff that is slightly less fictional, but it's still stupid nonetheless. This is a video of a guy who got himself a Japanese girlfriend. He found her on Genshin Impact. He gathered the courage and invite her to a Comic-Con, only to find out that it's a woman. That sounds super wholesome, assuming that it's true. But when someone is happy, someone else definitely isn't. This loser wants other people to suffer. He's filled with hatred and anger. It's unfair. It's so gravely unjust. Welcome to the real world, my friend. I am smarter than most people. There are many types of intelligence in the world, bro. I don't think you fit in any of them. I am more creative than most people. Clearly not in the writing department. I am funnier than most people. That one I agree. You are hilarious. Because I'm ugly, no cute girl is interested in me sexually. Yeah, maybe because you're not a good person to them. At least that Genshin guy had the courage to ask her out and be nice. Maybe if you have a better personality and act less like a whiny entitled asshole, you might score someone. Don't worry, male incels. Being an incel is not just a male thing. What kind of world do we live in? I ask myself the same question. A normal regular girl cannot find a regular guy to date. Maybe try asking those regular guys why they don't want to be with you. These guys don't want a real woman. Yeah, because real women, or people in general, require a lot of responsibilities. Their lives are in your hands and your lives in theirs. They want a fantasy, because fantasies are fun and don't require a lot of responsibilities. They would rather jerk off to some screen. Again, why would they rather jerk off to some screen? If you're gonna continue blaming the screen, you're not on the right track. Rather than actually dealing with a real human being and what comes with that. Yeah, because real relationships are hard, bro. You know why? Because it's easier. Sounds like a good reason to me. Relationships are hard. If you're willing to fight for it, you'll be fine. But if you're not, being single is not that bad. And you know who you shouldn't have any relationships with? Strangers online. I can't believe that stranger danger is something that we have to teach young people over and over again. Because the internet exists. It's freaking social media. And it gives access to the worst people you can think of, including fraudsters. My mom was right about stranger danger online. Yeah, your parents tend to be right about a lot of stuff. You should definitely listen to them. That one orbit on Twitter was a grown-ass man in his mid-30s pretending to be a 20-year-old lesbian. Seriously, why would you trust people that easily on the net? There's no one to blame but yourself. Your parents warned you about it, we warned you about it, but you didn't listen. So now reap the consequences and learn some freaking lessons on what not to do online. Speaking of learning some lessons, here's a quick lesson for all of you. Fictional characters are not real, and you should not treat them the same way as real people. This person is pissed off by all those evil lolicons. How hard is it to get? Sexualizing children is bad. Except we're not talking about children, we talk about fictional characters. You missed my point completely. Not explaining to you anymore. You're too far gone. That or you have no argument. Fictional character or not, okay, stop. Fictional character or not, then why stop at children being sexualized? It's fiction, bro. It's the realm where killer clowns eat children. In fact, I recommend you check out horror books for children and all the horrific things they did to them. You liking or defending that is feeding into pedophilia. No, putting real children in social media does. Believe it or not, most predators are not into anime. It's feeding people's desires to groom actual minors. No, it doesn't. There are plenty of predators who are against loli or anime. There's a huge difference between actual minors and the ones in fiction, bro. If you cannot distinguish them, you're the one who has a problem. The sooner people realize the difference between fictional people and real people, the better. Fictional people don't need help. Real people do. Like this person. This person, who is a minor, has a question. Do you think it's wrong to think people are weird for liking and or defending something that looks and acts like a child? Yes, because they are fictional characters. If you're horrified that people sexualize fictional characters that look like children, fiction has put them in so much worse. Kids are being eaten by clowns for God's sake, and that's just on the movies. The book is so much worse. You want to see what horrific things children are being put through? Check out children's horror books. I can't help children because I am 14. Yes, you can. Tell other children to get off Twitter and go back to their parents. There are lots of strangers here, and they prey on anyone that admits they're a minor, and especially if those minors are blatantly sexual. I don't have a job. What am I supposed to do? Quit social media, go back to studying, and do your freaking homework, you little brat. I love it when people take the moral high ground when they clearly don't deserve it. This person is part of the self-harm, eating disorder, and drugs Twitter, and they think that people that ship fictional characters are weirdos and that they are not our cousins. Let me repeat that. The person that is part of the self-harm, eating disorder, and drugs community think that people that ship fictional characters are weirdos. I never said pro-shipping was worse. You just said that. I said I find it gross and weird. You said all that and said that you're in a group that is much worse. I'm underage. Of course you are. Where are your parents? Why are you here? I know this, but I'm not being treated and I'm just trying to survive. Yeah, maybe don't attack a whole ass community of people just having fun. I'm sorry for pissing people off, but it's just my opinion. You call a whole community weirdos and you expect them to be nice? Come on, dude. Good lord, all these things are dumb. So, let's end this parade of idiocy with something dumb, but also hilarious at the same time. I don't know what the context of this conversation is, but this guy really wants to flex their Rolex watch as if it's the best thing ever. I don't know why. Rolex watches are just that. They're watches. I'm fine with my old Casio. It tells time. That's all it needs to do. Won't even bother to explain what is the actual purpose of such a watch. It's to tell time. That's the purpose of all the watches in the world. It's to tell what time it is. It's not exactly a revolution. Oh, you're talking about Rolex. Yeah, I don't know. Please tell me, a rich person who thinks that an expensive watch is a valuable thing that should be bragged about. Yes, it's for social status, but I am not socializing with people that value their Rolex way too much. Someone poor will never understand. How nice of you calling me poor, because being rich, obnoxious, and out of touch like you sounds incredibly miserable. And that's all for the video today. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end, here's a beautiful flower. And also huge thanks to all these wonderful sponsors. You are all fantastic. If you want to see your names among these legends, then check out the links below, just $1. And you have supported this channel a lot. Seriously, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out my ABB Show stream channel, link below, go subscribe, and I'll see you all next time.